Hiya Chris, hope you found it on the golf course yesterday helpful. Just a couple of things we're going to run through now, mainly looking at sort of this chipping and pitching. As we said, when you were on the golf course using driver, 7-wood, or there was no issue in terms of how far the ball could go, or in terms of if the fairway was a bit narrow, so holes like 13, 17, 14, for example, other tees that wasn't your best, you did say you felt comfortable and confident on that tee, because there's quite a bit of width out there and there's no fear of going too far. When we then got on holes like the 16th, where all that trouble behind you on the left hand side is there, you could see your swing got a little bit kind of tentative, a little bit proddy, and didn't actually sort of commit through the swing. And that for me, I think, is the biggest thing at the moment now. If we think of the golf swing, as we said, it's basically a circle. If we were going for a full swing, the club would be sort of somewhere up here, top of the backswing, and when you get here, because it's a full swing, there's no conscious thought about where the club needs to stop on the circle. You go back as far as you can and then kind of release everything through as much as you can. It's when you've got a slight issue in terms of distance being the issue, you get a little bit long and then a bit tentative. This was a much better move, but now this was about a 30 or 40 yard shot, I think, on the 14th after we chipped out to the fairway. That length backswing now is, for me, very, very good. We can swing through with some speed. Again, a great twist of the body, the torso, the knees, the feet. Everything's working towards where the golf ball wants to go. In the past, what we've seen here, when you go back, you would have gone back probably somewhere up here with the golf club, created too much power, and then, of course, you then got to start trying to take that power off. And the way then you would do that was kind of like gripping onto the club and sort of flinching and twitching at it and trying to stop. So we can get in a habit now, just making sure we set the golf club, the distance on the way back to create the distance we want the ball to go towards target. And then in terms of obviously when the fairway gets a little bit narrower, it's picking a target out of the distance and not standing there thinking, oh, I don't want to go here, don't want to go there, and making swings to stop the ball going there. Because what we will find, as on 16, if you don't want to hit left on 16, which we know is a bit of a no-no, you will just hit it straight out to the right there. And what we then saw is once that ball had gone out to the right, then the chip back to the fairway just wasn't hard enough because you were a bit scared of going too far. Then you were a bit worried about going down the fairway, then you duffed your next one, and it's like a sort of a culmination of errors, one after the other. And that's where your holes come in play, where you say you might play 5, 6, 7 holes really nicely, some bogeys, or the odd par, maybe the odd double, and then you chuck in a big number, an 8 or a 9 or a 10, just because once you've teed off on that given hole, the ball is out of position. Then you start trying to get back into position by taking maybe some aggressive shots on that aren't there, and just not actually getting the ball back on the fairway and playing the golf the way you know you can. So work on some of those things in terms of sort of length of shots. Again, a simple little practice would be if you could get somewhere down at either practice ground, I think the area between the MAC on the 18th and the 12th, that little grassed area is about sort of 70 or 80 yards. If we think it's an area about so far, if you hit some golf balls from down here and measure how far it is to said spot, just keep it in shots up and down that sort of practice ground to learn distances. And then what you can do, you can put some things out there. So if we say you've got a 60-yard marker again, maybe put, I don't know, a head cover at 20 yards, put a towel at 40 yards, put something at 50 or whatever, and then just play different shots to different positions so you start learning your distance control. Just to give you a better understanding of, if I swing the golf club back to here, it goes 20 yards. If I swing it to here, it goes 40 yards. If I swing the golf club to here, we're going 60. And once you suddenly get more confident about how far that ball's going to travel, there'll be a lot less fear of quitting on the shot and trying to take the power off. And your contact will also be a whole lot better because you're accelerating through the golf ball, rotating things to target, and a lovely shot. And that short game will become a much better, much improved area of your game. So hope that all makes sense. Any questions, obviously, please feel free to give me a shout, and I will see you again soon. Cheers, Chris.